Welcome back to page 121. Today marks a pretty significant anniversary for me. I'll tell you more about that in the body of the video. Getting into the Halloween season and everything, I thought we'd take a look at cursed magic items in AD&D. Why cursed magic items? Well, because they can add a lot to your game. Going to be pulling the cursed items for today out of the Dungeon Master's Guide. There are plenty of other sources, Dragon Magazine and Earth Arcana being the ones that leap to mind. But I want to stay primarily with the stuff out of the Dungeon Master Guide. And what I'm going to do is show you some magic items, cursed magic items I've put into my game, and ways they've helped actually enhance role-playing in a lot of different ways. And some tips on maybe what you shouldn't do with cursed magic items. So that's really it. I'm just quick reminder about subscribers. Come on in. This channel's still growing. Thank you, everybody who's subscribed. I'm looking to grow it some more. So if you can help out, that'd be great. Also, Patreon. Thank you, my patrons. I appreciate the support. I can always use more. Help me get better equipment and a little bit better technology and just some other stuff I can use. So I need a little capital to do that. If you can help out, that'd be great. But back to today's topic from the Dungeon Master's Guide: cursed magic items in AD&D. Cursed magic items, you say? Why, what good are those? A whole bunch. First, the anniversary. Today is the 40th anniversary of the very first time I ran the Valpergus game. Ooh, Valpergus, an annual Halloween game, if you will, where the players bring in characters and I kill them. We always plan beforehand what characters they'll be bringing in, and then I, as the DM, have to come up with innovative and interesting ways to kill them. Sometimes it can simply be through attrition, through just so much damage over the night. But even that, I try to make the damage interesting and how it accumulates. I can't go into any more details because I'm running that game tonight, and I know some of my players actually watch my channel. They do watch my channel, but I meant to say I know my players watch my channel sometimes before they come over, and I don't want to give them any tips as to what's awaiting them. The idea of Valpergus is the characters die, but it doesn't count toward anything. They don't lose any magic items or anything. Whatever they came in with, they have for the very next game. It's just a fun game. I had done it in 1982 on October 18th as a way to demonstrate that characters could be killed no matter how powerful they were. And I've killed everything up to a 25th level paladin in this. And it was just a fun thing I used to do at that old club I used to DM at. And in fact, my largest game that I ever DM'd, a 4-hour game, I DM'd 24 people in the last Valpergus game I ran there in 1985. That is a whole bunch of people to DM. I ran out of time. I only killed 20 of them. They're the only people that ever got out of a Valpergus alive. There were 4 of them. My player Craig, my wife's character, another friend of ours, his name was Jeff, and then another Jeff that we played with. All survived, and the way they survived is I just couldn't get to them in time. They all made a point of hiding out somewhere, and I couldn't get around to killing them. So that's it. That's Valpergus. If you look back about a year ago, I did a Valpergus recap video, and my very first video on the channel was Valpergus, where I talk about what it is. So that's my anniversary I'm excited about, and that got me thinking about cursed magic items. In Valpergus, I used to get people with this all the time. I don't anymore. Any magic item I put out was cursed. So that's what made me think about this. And I'd even twist some good magic items and curse them, because anything in Valpergus is bad. Players have learned over the years not to pick up magic items, so I can't use that anymore. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn to page 121. Yes, that's what I named my channel for. The beginning of the magic item lists. I like these because a quick way to find the poison item is just to look for the no experience point value. They have poison listed as cursed item. They have poison listed as a cursed item. I like that. And a potion of poison is cursed, and delusion is cursed. And then there's some cursed scrolls, but we're not going to look at that stuff today. We're going to start with the Ring of Contrariness. Ring of Contrariness, I will give you the bona fides on that in just a second, and tell you how it happened in our game. There is the Ring of Contrariness. This magic ring is cursed so as to make its wearer unable to agree with any idea or statement or action. Once put on, the ring can be removed only after remove curse is cast on the individual wearing it. Now, because of the curse, the wearer will resist any attempts to have it removed. Because if you say, we have to remove it, it's for your own good, he'll say, no way. Now, if we say, we have to remove it, it's cursed, he'll still be contrary to you in the idea in that he won't believe it's cursed. So this can be a real tricky thing to actually get him to agree to have the remove curse cast. For the one I gave out to one of my players, it ended up being a Ring of Strength, 18 double ought. He was playing a druid. So the contrariness in his alignment wasn't a big deal because he was true neutral. But the player played it to the hilt. He did an excellent job of role-playing the contrariness. And no matter what the party did, he went against the letter or the spirit of it. And it says here you can't trick him into hitting himself in the head with a table or something, because it says he'll know that for what it is, and in fact he might strike you with that item. So it can become a fun thing because it was strength of 18 double ought. Even though he was not a fighter class, I let him have the +3/+6 benefit to give him more reason to hang on to the ring. Eventually, he had the ring on. It was about a 6-hour game we played, and he got it very early in the night. And by the end of the night, they had gotten around to having an MU with a remove curse, but they couldn't figure out how to get the guy to stand still for it. They hit him with a hold person, and the hold person held him long enough that they were able to go ahead and cast the remove curse on it and pull the ring off his finger. My player played this so well that we took a dinner break and went to a nearby Wendy's, and he ordered his meal in contrariness. The girl at the counter didn't think it was such a laugh, but we did, and we thought it was really funny. So that's one way you can use a cursed item to spice up the role-playing a little bit. You can have a player who kind of just grabs it and runs with it. I suffered kind of the opposite. I had a DM give me, I was 2nd level ranger, the very first ranger I played. So this is back in, I think, 80 or 81. And very first ranger I played, I was very excited about him. I'd gotten a 2nd level. I was really excited. And I received a ring, and I slipped it on, and it was a -2 cursed ring, -2/-2 in combat, -2 to hit, -2 to damage. 2nd level character, remove curse needed. I had no coin. We had nobody in the group that had access to any kind of power that high. I played him. I finished out the game with him. It kind of killed the character for me. He went to the back of the character folder, and I never really played him again. He's still wandering around Greyhawk somewhere with that cursed ring on his finger. It's just, you got to be careful with cursed items, because if you don't have a way out, even if it's a game or two, or maybe even a quest, it can kind of kill a character for a player. In that case, it did kill it for me. The DM didn't mean for that to happen, but that didn't help save my character. Another one I want to talk about is the Amulet of Inescapable Location. This one's a neat one, and you wouldn't think this is such a good one, but it is. The device is typically worn on a chain or as a brooch that pins on. It appears to be an amulet which prevents detection, scrying, crystal ball, etc. Actually, the amulet doubles the likelihood and or range of those location and detection modes. Normal determination attempts, including detect magic, will not reveal its true nature. So you can have somebody wandering around this thing thinking they've got an amulet of proof for its detection location, and they've really got a cursed item that lets them be spotted very easily. So that can lead to some interesting role-playing. And this is one that can be on a long, long time. It actually doesn't say anything here about how you have to remove it. So in theory, you could just find out what it is eventually and then just get rid of it. So now we're going to go to one of my more favored ones I've given out in the past, and it is a Helm of Opposite Alignment. This is another one you have to be careful with. Here it is, Helm of Opposite Alignments on page 146. Helm of Opposite Alignment. By appearance, this metal hat is simply a typical helmet. By test, it radiates an intermediate Dweomer magic. Once placed on the head, its true curse is revealed, and it changes the alignment. We just have it go to the diametrically opposed alignment. So lawful good becomes chaotic evil, chaotic good becomes lawful evil, etc. This can lead to a lot of interesting role-playing. I gave this out years ago, and what I did is I gave it at the end of the night, and for the player, it seemed like it was a helmet of +2 protection. So he was all excited. Then he got the phone call. We knew we were going to play the same group in a week, so I called him during the time between games, and I said, guess what? That helmet, it's a Helm of Opposite Alignment. he was neutral good, now he was neutral evil in our game. That's the diametrically opposed. The player wasn't happy with me. I explained how he could get rid of it, but he would need the other party members to actually do it for him. And so he prepped it for a few days in his brain, and he sat down and he role-played the heck out of it. He played a devious, conniving, evil guy who had infiltrated the fabric of the party. It went really well. Accolades. That was my player, Craig, who did that, and he did a really nice job with it. Definitely sold it, and I thought the role-playing was just great on that. So we're going to take a look at one or two more. I'm not going to go to every single cursed magic item. I'm going to go to one that's actually pretty insidious. It happens to be on the exact same page as the helm, and that is the Horn of Bubbles. And this musical instrument radiates magic. It appears to be a normal horn, possibly one of the many magical ones. If you sound a note, and it will call forth a mass of bubbles, which completely surrounds and blinds the individual who blew the horn for 2 to 20 rounds. These bubbles will only appear in the presence of a creature actively seeking to slay the character who winded the horn, so their appearance might be delayed for a very short or extremely lengthy period. The Horn of Bubbles ended up being something that was in my campaign for a while, because the players didn't catch on that winding the horn was what caused the curse. The player who did it, and he blew an experimental note, and I acted all mysterious and threw dice and stuff, but nothing happened at the moment, and then the next melee they got into, the bubbles appeared. He was blinded, -4 attack, -4 damage, -4 to armor class. So he knew he was operating under a curse, but he couldn't figure out what it was from. It actually happened a couple of times before they associated it with the Horn of Bubbles. By the way, most cursed magic items straight out of the book only work if your players aren't really familiar with the books. Back when I did some of these, a lot of the players weren't really familiar with them. So now I'm going to take a quick look at another cursed magic item, the Mirror of Opposition. I've used this one as encounters in a dungeon. The mirror exactly resembles a normal mirror. Any creature reflected in its surface will cause an exact duplicate to come into being, and this opposite will immediately attack. Note the duplicate will have all items and powers of the original, including magic. But upon defeat or destruction, or of either, the duplicate and his items disappear completely. So it's not a way you can step in front of the mirror, kill your doppelganger, and get all magic doubled. The magic all disappears when he's defeated. This can be a tremendously nasty combat, because the other thing I've added to one or two of these mirrors is if somebody else jumps into the fight to help out, whether they are reflected in the mirror or not, their doppelganger appears to fight them. So, and I also have it that the doppelganger that comes out of the mirror, I've done it two ways. I've had it where it's at full hit points. So if you're wounded when you see your reflection, you're in a lot of trouble. Or if I'm feeling merciful, it will come out of the mirror with the same number of hit points as the original, the same current number of hit points. So the Mirror of Opposition can be a great dungeon encounter that's not really going to go out of the room, but can end up being a big role-playing opportunity for you. So we're going to take a look at one more magic item. And this one, again, the player was pretty creative with. And this is a cursed sword that I gave him. The cursed sword, let's see, it was the cursed sword -2. And again, I groused about my guy getting a -2, but I had made sure that this cursed sword, I had set up a little quest where they could get the remove curse to get rid of it. The cursed sword says it's only removed by limited wish, or alter reality. The player group was only about 5th level. I made it that a remove curse would take it away. This sword gives you -2 attack, -2 damage, and it leaps to your hand, teleporting to your hand to be the item you use in combat. Well, the player was not happy about the -2, but he thought, well, wait a minute, I can make some money with this. So what he did is he went to a local bar, and he made bets that he could draw his sword without touching it. And everybody plunked down their money, and then he said, okay, attack me. And the person attacked him, the sword teleported out of his hilt, and out of the scabbard into his hand, and he fended off the attack, and he won the money. He also did this in a tight situation against some guards where their hands were up, the guards closed in, and he was able to draw his sword without drawing it. It teleported to his hand. So even though it was a cursed item, it was -2, he found a way to turn it into a positive, and I gave him a lot of benefits for having found a way to turn it to a positive. In fact, he tried to find a way to just get rid of the -2, and just use it as a teleporting sword. That we were working on, and then he ended up leaving my campaign, unfortunately. But he role-played this very well. He had the cursed sword on him for about 2 games. And we played a different game in the meanwhile. We're coming back to this one when he moved away. So there you have it. Not all cursed items necessarily are bad. Most are. Most will mess up your game. So be careful with them. But when I give out a cursed item, I have 2 things in mind. How long the character is going to be under the curse. Is it going to be just for the remainder of the night, or is it going to be longer? And the other thing I have in mind is how are they going to remove it? I'm not going to curse somebody and leave it on there. So a lot of times this will lead to a quest of some kind. In the case of the -2/-2 sword, yeah, he worked with that negative for quite a while until he was able to go further along. I wish we'd been able to complete that with the character. He got the curse removed, but he never got that. He got the curse removed from himself where he didn't have to use the sword, but he wanted to find a way to still have a teleporting sword, and we never finished that end of it. So that's it for today from page 121 on my 40th anniversary of my first Valpergus. Wish me luck tonight as I slaughter my players. It's always fun. We always get a lot of laughs out of it. And it's meant to be silly. The one game a year I'm not serious at all in D&D is for Valpergus. One year I had a Son of Caius. Those are the worm guys that have all the little wormy things. If you get hit by them, they infect you. He was on a slide and went down the slide, and at the bottom of the slide was a blade barrier. It acted like a blender, shot the worms everywhere. The party was covered. On the way down the slide, I had the Son of Caius say, "Wee." I don't do silly games like that in D&D much at all, but on Valpergus, I let my hair down. We have some fun. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I want to thank you for your time, and I'll see you next time on page 121.